up because they can't afford to get a good job or own a house.
8 million Venezuelans voting for this assembly, saying it's actually less than 3.
It is. And people are going to start rioting in the streets.
Was reported to have asked Putin for military support that would help him stay in power.
We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
More unified. Still fighting his sons. Hey, everybody.
Does its dominance mean it can use the alliance for its own ends?
Since 1981, bond yields, also known as coupon rates, have just gone down and down and down.
The Federal Reserve note will be your biggest financial liability. RTD Live Talk, Thursday night, the 13th day of the month of December. We are live and looking forward to finding out what's going on. It's been a while since I've been in the set in this format, so it should be fun. So as always, my name is Mike, the host of RTD Live Talk. Tonight we're going to have somewhat of a shorter stream than normal just because it's been a long day and I'm tired and actually was debating on whether I should go live or not, but we're here, so let's have some fun. Looking forward to getting caught up on what's happening in the news, given the fact that I haven't been near the computer as much as I would have liked to have been, but it is what it is. So, as always, welcome to the show. Any new viewers, let me know where you're watching us from in the chat here, or more importantly, if you want, there's a number above my head, 1-833-LIVE-RTD, for you to call in and let me know what's happening and what's on your mind. So, as we got Spirit, we got R. Rafterman. How you guys doing? We got Kenneth. Says Spirit says Mueller is coming. It says Mark is about to get nasty. We got Darnell Jones says, caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's your name? Where you calling from? Yeah, okay. Not sure about that. We got a Future Money Show, Charlotte, North Carolina. Welcome, Charlotte. I was just in Charlotte a couple hours ago. Interesting. Well, welcome to the show, people. Look forward to finding out what's on your mind. And so I want to actually share with you a couple things that I think is quite relevant to this overall, this global housing bubble that we're in. And so over the last couple of days down in Santiago, Chile, and had a good chance to just roam through the city a lot. And I noticed a trend that I've actually noticed over the last couple of years there especially, but it's becoming more obvious that, especially talking with a lot of locals there, on how the homelessness situation is increasing there because most people are being priced out of the housing market, given the fact that there's so much development right now in the valley, and there's cranes everywhere throughout the city, and that's just a sign of the idea that there a lot of credit flowing around, a lot of debt like being borrowed into existence. And of course, housing has gone up 3 to 4 times over the last couple of years to where most people can no longer afford to actually stay in the Santiago area. So a lot of people are moving out. And so remind me a lot of what's happening here in the United States of America, where the coastlines are becoming quite expensive and people are forced to move further inland. So looks like the housing bubble situation is just not something that's isolated here in the U.S. as well as any other developed nations as well. So Chile's definitely in for a rude awakening once that real estate bubble pops as well. So that being the case, that is what it is. But what else is going on here? I was actually reading on the way back today that the former lawyer for President Donald Trump, looks like he's going to get 3 years in prison for lying, as well as just his past dark shadow work that he apparently dressed or stated that he did for the current president. So question is, will this lead to more as far as just the closet being opened up on current President Trump and any of his dealings? And love to find out what your thoughts are on that, so feel free to chime in. And then one thing that I was wondering is if this current lawyer that is going to jail for 3 years, and then there's another gentleman, I'm not sure who, that was also caught in lying under oath or something of that nature, and possibly might face some type of jail time or something. How far will this go? And of course, CNN always does a good job of everything is towards President Trump is very negative, and they say that this is enough to get him impeached officially now. And so my thought was, say, for example, if the Democrats and whoever else try to really use this current streak of the Russiagate or whatever they want to call it to actually push to get the president impeached, how much information will he probably squill on the way down if it was to actually go forward? I'll be interested in finding out, because I think that if he is put in a position to where his back is against the wall and is looking as if he's going to be impeached, just, say if it happens, I can imagine he will definitely open up some files, as well as run his mouth and spilling some of the dirty laundry of all former administrations, most notably the one that just ended, and the Obama administration, and then probably going right into the Bush administration, and then Clinton, right on down the line. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out, but who knows? But it says Deutsche Bank raid intended for a look into this financial records. Oh, okay, so that's a good one there. Never heard that one. So it looks like the idea that Deutsche Bank a couple weeks ago was their offices were raided. Someone mentioned here that it was a way of trying to get a hold of some of financial records, assuming for for Donald Trump. It says Clinton Foundation on the hot seat today, whistleblowers coming forward. Yeah, so I saw a little bit about that. So I'm gonna pull that up. And so Clinton whistleblowers, and see what happened, because I'm interested to find out about that. I actually saw an article but didn't have a chance to read into it. And so the question will be, how far will this go, or will this get swept under the rug? And so just typing in Clinton whistleblower, nothing's coming up in Google out of 74,000 search terms that's legit. It says we got one here, some Russian uranium. So here's an article from Forbes here that points at says Russian uranium one deal and Hillary Clinton in the news again. And so, and once again, until I see some true investigative work into what's happening with the Clinton Foundation and this uranium one deal, because this whole uranium one deal was a part of the whole investigation, and I think it was back during her presidential run. So, this is 2 years now and nothing's happened. So I really wouldn't bank on anything happening or developing from this. And so it looks like my computer might have froze up a little bit. But so we'll see what happens with that. But yet, once again, until we get some really juicy information as to how, what, where, when, and how much, and who was involved, I wouldn't really bank on it that much. Another one here says, what's up, Mike? Johnny, how you doing, my friend? So I don't think the prez will get impeached. POTUS controls the Senate. Yeah, but just saying one of the worst case scenarios or something of that nature, because it's good to say that because of this Cohen lawyer guy getting some time, he might decide to cooperate in a more in-depth manner and come out with some files, some photos, or some receipts or something that can, I'm sure kind of build a pretty good case against the current president. But, who knows? We'll see. So it's funny to me how they are drawing attention to his campaign fund activities. All campaign donations from corporations are made with the understanding that they're looking to get into something in return. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. And so, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know the number offhand, but I want to say if we were really going to be transparent and go back into records and find out who donated what, it'd probably be worthwhile to go back to the former administration, where I believe former President Obama raised something astronomical that was like, how does that come about? So it's good to say all those campaign donations were not just giveaways of like, here, just take this, become president, without making some type of promises on the side. So, but yeah, once again, the media does a good job of painting and telling their own narrative of each story, and it always has to do with something that's pro-establishment, anti-truth, and alternative media type of thing. So it says Trump can overturn Cohen the verdict. He's president. Not sure. We're going to find out. I'm sure that tomorrow, and especially next week, we're going to find out more and get a more in-depth look as to how this thing plays out. It says the deep state United States of America goes back at least before World War II. It says how infiltrated is the political system? How hard will it be to fix all the wrongs? How hard will it be to fix the wrongs? James, it'll be extremely difficult to fix all the wrongs, given the fact that our entire political monetary system is based upon lies and deceit and crime in general. Like, it's so much criminality in our systems that and this is my opinion, but if you're a political figure, if you're involved in politics, and especially if you are a lifelong politician, you've had to do some things that I'm sure if it was brought to light, it would just clean out all Senate, Congress, even Supreme Court. I'm sure people got some dirt on them. So yeah, but that's just the system we're under. It says, did you hear about the general who killed himself in Qatar? Yes, I did a couple weeks ago. I didn't get a chance to look any further into it, but I would imagine there's another story, another side of the story there. I'm not real versed to even speak on it, other than I would imagine that a general who's gave his whole life to this country, I find it hard to believe that all of a sudden he would just up and end it, apart from him being involved in something where he was pressured, or it wasn't a actual suicide. But I don't know. I'm not going to speak on that. I'm leave it at that. I'm going to leave it at that. And let me make sure look like we might have a call. Let me get my mic plugged in. And so as I mentioned, tonight's stream is going to be a little bit shorter, given the fact that a little tired. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Russell from Missouri.
Russell from Missouri. How you doing tonight, my friend? What's on your mind?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. Thanks for calling in.
All right. Before I do go into my call, I just want to wish you and all the people on chat Merry Christmas.
Well, thank you. Same to you.
My question was, well, first off, can the people hear us?
Let me make sure. Okay, so for a couple weeks ago, we were talking. Yeah, okay, so looks like no one said they cannot hear us, so we're good to go. And my mic's moving, so we're good to go.
Okay, good to go. So my question is, as we see things unfolding, and I know we can't predict the future, but this is just wanting to know your opinion, so I can make a better informed decision on my part with all the things I'm reading and looking at, things like that. And then the way the stock market's going, if we do go into a recession and a lot of this banking stuff goes down because of the Deutsche Bank problems and the derivative lending and things like that that's going on, is it really foolish to be in the stock market currently, or is it a good time to start buying the dip? I mean, because you always hear buy the dip, buy the dip, sell it when it's high. But when do you know that it's okay? It's a upside probability for the risk that you're taking.
Yeah. Okay, so this good question there, and as always, anybody in the audience there who have more of a financial standpoint as far as having a background in equities or whatnot might want to chime in via chat. But my thought would be, unless you are someone who are day trader or someone who's well versed and know just the actual trading activity, if you're a hands-on day-to-day, then you can probably maneuver and manage some things and probably be okay with it. But if you are a passive investor, like most people are, where they just stock money aside in their 401k or it's deducted out of their accounts and they don't know where, how, or what they're allocated in, then in that case, I personally wouldn't want to even be involved in anything that I didn't know directly or have access to control and to maneuver myself. So it's more so, I would say it's more so if you're well versed and if you are a trader and if you know how, what, where, when, how to get in, you can short the market. If you know all that activity, then you can probably play around with it and make some gains along the way. But I'm sure you're aware of the fact that one day it will correct. And if you don't know what you're doing, then you're going to be a victim, in my opinion.
Right. Well, my strategy is mainly just trying to get myself into well-balanced and different, what are they called? Funds. You know, where they invest in, you know, maybe they have 50, 60 different types of stocks in that one one fund, you know, and things like that. So because I'm not a day trader, I'm more, I just invest. I'm an investor, not a trader.
Right.
So you think it's not even smart to be in on mutual funds and things like that?
So not able to give financial advice, but in my opinion, if the type of dip and correction, so i.e. a good example would be watching recently Greg Hunter with Yvonne Van Grier, the Switzerland gold guy, and he was basically one of the things he believed, as well as a lot of other commentators, they're saying you can expect 70-80% dip in the stock market. So that's me, indexes, funds, all those are going to take a major hit. Of course, some will do good, some won't, but I'm not well versed enough to know which ones I would be willing to bet on, because in my opinion, this is literally a legalized form of gambling right here. Because if we know something's coming and we know that it's all overly inflated, you know, PE ratio wise and all those indicators that people use to let us know that we're in a bubble in equities, I'm not smart enough to play around with it. So I don't participate myself. That's just me.
Gotcha. So do you, and again, I know this is not financial advice, is your suggestion to go into physical metals where you own the metals, and that's what's in your 401k, and then possibly even hedge with possibly some cryptocurrencies or things like that, stuff that's a little bit more, I guess, hardcore, if you will, hardcore money.
Yeah, and so from a lot of the information given from all the people I've interviewed, and so also, just if you're not familiar, the RTD University link has all my 75 interviews of everybody who's well versed in this sector here and their opinions. So that'd be a way to guide you as well. But my thoughts is, given what I believe is coming, something that we've never seen before, I personally would feel more comfortable being able to hold on to something tangible in my possession, just for the sake of security, given the fact that we know everything that's not physical in your possession is a derivative or a receipt of something, and it has multiple claims to it, and so you never know. And so I personally play it on the safer side, but yet once again, I'm of the younger generation, so I haven't been in the markets 30, 40, 50 years and put my entire life into this system in the way that most people probably have, especially if you're, you know, a little bit older and looking forward to the retirement idea coming up soon for some people. So I personally, being under 40, I'm not seeing that retirement narrative the way that it was sold to my parents. I told my mom all the time, you shouldn't expect anything, so you should prepare for the worst now. And so she understands that a little bit more. But so that my viewpoint and my paradigm is a little bit different, given the fact what time frame I'm born and things of that nature. So that also factors into my rationale, if I can say that.
Gotcha. One last question. Yep. This is going to be a pinpoint question. Silver or gold?
Ooh, and I say you can't go wrong with either one. Everyone's mentioning that the ratio will correct one day, so silver is extremely undervalued. So having both will do you just fine. But then you think about, you know, as you get your weight up, you get heavier. Then are you able to move with some of that weight or not? And then you have to strategize what you're going to do with that weight, and then how you're going to unload it when you need to unload it, because it will one day enter into a bubble phase as well. And you might not want to be holding on to it the way that we are collecting it and hoarding it now. So a lot of things to factor into that, but I would say you can't go wrong with both of them. Plus, I'm sure there's some people out here who like palladium and platinum and things of that nature as well. So anything that's from the elemental period table, you know, is from the earth. So that's kind of secure because it's God's wealth.
Gotcha.
All right, my friend. Thanks.
Well, thank you for your time.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Have a good night. Good call as always, man. Yeah, so that's where it gets kind of challenging, because when you listen to someone, you can tell that, you know, they might be a generation ahead or a little bit older, and so sharing my opinion has somewhat of a biasness to it, because I'm, you know, in a younger generation, a little bit removed from the millennial age, and so my thought process is a lot different, because I haven't spent my entire life putting into this system in anticipation of and withdrawing one day in the form of retirement. So my philosophy, as I might put it, will be a little bit different than most. But yet, at the end of the day, as I always say on this show, whatever happens between now and that day, it's going to be a currency issue. Like, everybody's national currency will be revealed for what it is, which is a zero, not worth anything piece of paper that anything denominated in it, you will probably lose out on. So you might not want to have a lot of it. And that's just my opinion. Let me know if I'm wrong. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
How's it going, Mike? This is Jess. I'm calling from out California. How's it going?
I'm doing good, my friend. How you doing? What's on your mind tonight?
Yeah, man. I'm a long-time listener, but a first-time commenter. So I just wanted to remind all the folks out there that, you know, we're over here stacking up, you know, getting our weight up on gold, silver, and a little bit of crypto. Which, by the way, the IMF is flirting with putting XRP in the SDR basket of currencies. I don't know if you heard about that or not.
Ooh, there's so many XRP fans out here. I wouldn't doubt it, and I wouldn't doubt that being the case. So I'm gonna look it up since we on here and find out for myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not really a fan of XRP because in principle it does kind of keep in place the people that we're trying to eliminate with the principles of cryptocurrency, but unfortunately, these people have that kind of power, and they're doing what they can to keep it. So this is just what I'm hearing. You know, a couple people shot the messenger when I put it out there, but it is what it is. So I would just say still do with the crypto that you're into, but just know that fiat is on its way out, because if the U.S. fiat falls, everybody else falls. So the only thing in the SDR basket that will still be somewhat available would be a form of crypto.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. Yeah, and I wouldn't doubt if somehow, some way they try to link up and tie the XRP, you know, coin with the SDR, and you know, so whatever's in that basket at the end of the day, it's going to be something crypto. Then you got gold, of course, but gold is not heavily denominated in that. Then you got the 5 or 6 currencies. So yeah, it's a hot mess out there. So as you can tell, there's no clear winner as of now, according to what they are presenting to us at this current moment. But never sleep on the idea that they may already have a actual SDR coin or something in their back pocket to reveal to us on the last day as things go out. So I would never bypass the fact that they are prepared for something. Now, who knows what?
Definitely possible. Let me just remind the viewers out there, man, besides all of the gold and silver and all of that, don't forget to get your weight up on these skills. Get your weight up on these skills, man. You know what I'm saying? They got heirloom seeds, which means that when you plant the seed in the soil, whatever your crop, you know, when you harvest your crop, the seeds in the fruit or vegetables can be grown again. Yeah. So make sure you get your heirloom seeds. Make sure you get the other precious metals, which are tools. You know what I'm saying? Hand tools, because we're going to need to learn some skills, because while a lot of us might be having a lot of gold and silver with no skills, when these times come where, as the DHS just put out a thing about we have to start preparing as Americans for a possible 6 months or so of no electricity, all the people that are sitting there with the skills are going to take all your gold and silver. Don't forget, when people came to California for the gold rush, it wasn't so much the people that were in the gold rush that made out. It was the people standing there with the pans, selling pans, and things of that nature that really made out in the gold rush, not the actual panhandlers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point there. So, yeah, someone mentioned the other day, and I didn't have a chance to mention it, but from the Washington Examiner about start prepping, and said electric grid primes, and they're using that terrorist narrative again, that, you know, some EMP or some terrorist threat could shut off our power. So that could be a hint at what could be in the mix now. Because, I mean, I haven't heard the word terrorist used in quite a while in the mainstream news. So we'll see. So I'm assuming it has something to do with the people coming across the border or trying to come across the border, assuming they're saying there's some people mixed in the crowd there that might be terrorists. So, yeah. But, no, thanks for bringing that up, because I would have forgot to mention that one.
Yeah, the people crossing the border. And also I just heard on RT that the Russian They call it's some kind of fighter jet that they have that has nuclear capabilities, but apparently they're over there playing around in Venezuela right now. So between those two events, you know, maybe a couple of figures out there are getting a little lancy, but if they're getting it to the mainstream that we got to start, you know, being a little vigilant, it's probably a good time to really start getting vigilant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good point there. And I actually posted a picture earlier on the community page with the link to the idea that Russia and Venezuela, the Air Force, they're doing training drills right in the Caribbean off the coast of Venezuela. So, you know, once again, Russia, China, they all doing drills, but nobody invited us to the party to do drills along with them, which lets me know that they're doing drills because they plan on using it probably against us or something of that nature. So I haven't saw anywhere where the U.S. is doing drills, any joint drills with anybody really. So, yeah. But something to keep in mind, man. But thanks for calling in, buddy. I appreciate you.
Hey, thanks again, man. Keep doing what you do. We listen.
I will, my friend. Thank you. Have a good night.
You too, bro.
Yeah, man. It's good stuff as always. Good stuff as always. Missed a couple calls along the way. Feel free to call in and let your voice be heard. Got a couple more minutes, then we're going to get off here. As I mentioned, for those that are tuning in, having a little bit of a short run tonight. It's been a long day for me, a little tired or whatnot. And, yeah, so that being the case, the phone lines are still open for those that want to call in while we're live and go from there. But in reference to the XRP, I personally, man, like, you know, not a fan. Just because of how it's been positioned as being the banker's coin and how it basically was, I'm not sure where it was located at on the in the market cap wise, but knowing that it was a billion or two or however much injected into it, it went from not in the top 10, I don't think, to like number 2 or 3, and it's been hovering around that same point. Excuse me, for the last couple of years now, and to think about how it arrived at that point, and given the fact it's a banker's coin. And knowing that, you know, commercial banks have the right and the ability to just create currency out of nowhere in the form of digits or digital dollars. So how easy is it for any of the banks to just run off, you know, 100 million each and then just go ahead and buy some XRP, giving it that illusion of value in terms of the market cap and it reaching up to that second spot or one day surpassing Bitcoin? Because once again, if it is a banker's coin and all the coins have already been mined, like I believe they have been, then they're sitting in a pool somewhere waiting to be inflated away via with the paper, with digital dollars. So just my 2 cents. But we got another caller. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Think about Hi, my name's Tim Kane. I'm a northwest suburb of Chicago.
TK, how you doing? Can you mute your computer for me so we can hear you? Because we hear the echo.
Sorry about that.
No problem. What's on your mind tonight, my friend?
Quick question. The government just put out recommendations that people should have 6-month supplies of food and water in case our electric grid goes down.
Yeah.
Well, what's your thoughts on that? They know something we don't know?
I think that's tied into this article that I have up on the screen here in reference to what's happening at the border. And I didn't have a chance to read it, but I saw the headlines that you're referring to. So I would assume it's I would say like necessarily a scare tactic, but yet it's a warning given the fact that September of this current year was National Preparedness Month, of which in that executive order signed by the president, it mentioned the same exact things that the DHS is mentioning. So here we are, September to now December. That's 2 different warnings, one from the president, one from the DHS or whatever. You know, that lets me know that they foresee or are aware of something that they want to make sure they at least get the word out for those that are probably on the prepper side or the alternative media side that'll probably pay attention to it the most. But mainstream media, of course, I don't think, you know, they I haven't saw them on my local news channel. So I think it's definitely something to consider. But as always, for those that are aware that things are happening already, everyone should already have a little bit of that, you know, in their possession already. So it's not really a shock to most, I would assume, correct?
Yeah, people that are prepared. The thing is, they look at preppers as being people that are off the wall or, you know, well, now they're telling us to do it.
Yeah.
My concern is I don't want to get accused of being a hoarder, so I want to keep a copy of this with my supplies. So if the police ever come to the door, I can say, hey, I'm just following the government's recommendations. You know?
Yeah, and I say to take it even further, go ahead and print out a copy of that executive order from September where it was declared National Preparedness Month. So if the president tells you to be prepared, then you should have the green light when if something was to happen. But also, as you mentioned, another thing came to mind: the idea that being prepared can be looked at as being as someone being a hoarder. When in this day and age now, beyond the fact that no one's prepared because we have access to go to a grocery store anytime we want and buy what we need. So 100 years ago, it was common sense that you have a pantry with all your food, in glass jars, airtight seals, type stuff that our grandparents, I'm sure, had. Whereas if you do that stuff now, you're looked at funny because of what? That's kind of backwards, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but that's just how the system goes. So, but no, man, I appreciate you calling and sharing your thoughts, my friend.
Sounds good. I just think 6 months are usually off. I mean, if the grid goes down, it could be 1 year, 2 years, is my thought.
Yeah, and then if it does go down, it's more than likely meant to cover up a lot of other things, which is going to be political chaos, social unrest, as well as financial whatever, because that means no ATMs, no bank access, no credit cards. So that's why prior guests always mention the importance of having a little bit of them green notes on hand for immediate transactions in case of something of this nature. So just something we should consider, I guess. But my friend, thank you. I appreciate you calling in.
All right, thanks for taking my call.
Yep, my pleasure. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, man, good stuff as always. So it looks like this warning of that I believe has something to do with this electric grid being a prime target is something that people are concerned about. So definitely appreciate you guys for bringing it to my attention. And so I saw a couple of these headlines, but didn't have time to really look into it. It says Satoshi means wise, intelligent, witty. Nakamoto means Central Oregon, CIA. Ryan, that could be true. That could be true. This whole, I've never put it past the idea that this crypto could be a complete setup to bait us into the idea of a digital coin type thing and then switch it on us at the last minute by because as of now, Bitcoin, Litecoin, or Bitcoin primarily has never been hacked directly, or the ledger has never been disrupted, interrupted in a way that where it has shaken confidence. But if it's good to say if it's created by the CIA, like some people do believe, then they also have a backdoor, some type of code or something that could crack it or to disrupt it, causing problems. So I would never put that past anything. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Mike, Tony from Oakland. What's going on, brother?
Tony, how you doing, my friend? Doing good. How you doing?
I'm good. Welcome back, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. What's on your mind this evening?
Well, I want to talk about this wall and possible shutdown.
Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead.
I've got an opinion, and it may make some people mad, but I'm going to give it to you and put it food for thought.
Go ahead.
Trump wants to build the wall to shut off the #1 drug access to the U.S., which is Mexico.
Yeah, that's what we, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and then open up a new drug transport coming from Colombia, right next to Venezuela.
Okay, so give me some information on that, because I'm not aware, so I'm not going to speak on it. So shine some light on it, because I've been out of the mix a little bit. Go ahead.
Okay, you know the whole thing with Venezuela, that you can't buy their currency, you can't do anything, basically starving them to death.
Right.
And they're back in Colombia. Trump's got a potential Trump Tower going in Colombia. And you know what they call Miami or Florida Panhandle, Washington South. And so I just think that he's in bed with the drug cartels in Colombia to open up the new Afghanistan, Mexico, insert name here.
Okay, now once again, we will find out down the line. So I never heard about that angle. So there's definitely, here's the thing, like anything is possible, because we're getting bits and pieces of some stories. So we're trying to put together to connect the dots rather in between. So I like your frame of thought there, Tony. That's definitely true.
But you know, China and Russia, they got interest in Venezuela, so they ain't gonna touch Venezuela.
Yeah. Now, when you say
they
touch,
can do everything they want to.
Now, when you say touch Venezuela, you mean go in there and remove Maduro or what?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I look for things to start blowing up somewhere around January 11th, because that's when Maduro takes office. That's when the new Mexican president takes office, and Trump may not have to worry about building the wall because Mexico probably going to build it for him.
And so you think Mexico will actually come through, possibly, and build that wall?
Not for what the reasons that Trump is laying out, but yeah, they possibly would, because the opiates in the United States is running rampant.
Yeah,
and you know, Mexico, they got all that new all the new industries going in down there, the automotive industry going in down there. They want to try to clean that place up. So you know, in order to keep everybody out, they might strengthen their side of the wall.
Yeah. Now, and someone just mentioned in the chat, of which I remember mentioned this a while back. Now, the wall, you know, is like everything is always sold to the American public as being something that's beneficial for us. But yet also the other side of the coin is the idea that that wall now will actually keep Americans from being able to travel below that border at ease the way that we do now. And so it could be designed to keep us in case of martial law or something of that nature, where people actually want to get up and get out. We have limited access to be able to drive downward into areas that will be more open and receptive towards Americans coming down, possibly, because we can't go. Well, we can go up to Canada, but yet, I mean, not too many people want to go up to Canada. But so, what are your thoughts on that? The wall is designed to keep us in as well.
I don't believe in the martial law theory.
Yeah.
There's just too much of an area to cover for martial law across the United States. I think there's a good possibility that it could go up. If it does go up, to keep Americans in and not Mexicans out. I've been right about the Hondurans coming up from their country to the United States so far. I just think it's you know, this is a big game. Like I put in your text yesterday, I think it was. If you look at the Google CEO that interviewed, in the back of the background they had Mr. Monopoly in the background.
I didn't see
it. It was just a joke. It was a joke, man. It was, and that's how, and I think that's how tight they got this thing so wrapped up that they can do anything, put anything in our face, and we're not going to do anything about it because they know how to keep us divided.
Yeah.
So I don't want to keep you, man. I know you want to be a short night, but I just wanted to put that on your mind.
Well, I appreciate that, my friend, as always. Thanks, Tony. Appreciate it, man. Have a good night.
All right, brother.
All
keep
right.
your head up.
Yeah.
Bye.
Good stuff as always. Good stuff as always, man. Yeah, so it's a lot of things we could cover tonight, of which we seem to have touched on a little bit of everything. We got Russia, Venezuela, we got the wall, we got XRP in there, and everything else, man. So this was definitely a worthwhile chat. So as I mentioned before, going to dial back tonight a little bit earlier than normal, but back at it next week, full steam ahead. And I also got a couple videos I want to put out there probably tomorrow if I can get a chance to. But as always, people, if you enjoyed the chat, give us a thumbs up. Don't be afraid to hit that thumbs up button. And more importantly, if you're new to RTD, welcome to the community. And if you have not had a chance to chime in via chat or call in, feel free to do so. This show is for you guys to share what's on your mind. And definitely a lot of people here are regulars, to where we got a pretty good bond and we starting to think alike, which is definitely helpful because that's what a community is about, hanging out with people that think and act and believe in the same thing you do, so we can encourage one another and build one another up. So, that being the case, it's been great as always. Enjoy your evening. See you tomorrow, hopefully. And other than that, be safe, be good, be blessed, and enjoy your evening. Good night.